So I'm from the East Coast, so I have a little bit of a bias
Ooh.
to West Coast things. And so I'm just like giving you that disclaimer ahead of time before I say this.
That's fine.
So, so personally, what I've noticed in the couple times that I've gone to California, a couple times I've gone to LA, I just feel like Black people out there are a little bit different. And as a first generation American, we are already different, right? But what was the first time that you identified a moment where you were different or quote unquote different than the others around you?
That is, it's common that I hear that. They're like, out West, it's just a little different. And I honestly feel like it's because there's just so many different cultures to tap into. It's such a multicultural city. And those who are born and raised from the city of Los Angeles will know what I'm talking about. Like, at such a young age, I was made to feel so comfortable in my Nigerian heritage because I had friends who were also very comfortable in their respective heritages, right? Like my Filipino friends, my Ghanaian friends, my Middle Eastern friends, like we were just always able to it was like show and tell or share a dish or something. And so I think when it comes to recognizing I was different, honestly, I would say in high school, I was always a public school kid growing up and maybe a charter school here or there or whatever. But I always was in spaces that were very diverse and sometimes predominantly Black and brown. And so I went to high school, went to an all-girls Catholic high school. Shout out to St. Joseph High School in Lakewood, and was the only Black girl in my class, fully Black, and Nigerian at that. So I already had this self-awareness of who I am and where I come from. And I've looked back at those 4 years and I'm really grateful because I was able to still be myself and shine and have this bright, bold personality that I could feel comfortable with, my friend groups there. And even, looking left and right and not seeing anybody like me, I was still so comfortable to explore and express myself, even as like a young teenager blossoming into adulthood because I had that upbringing. So it was like a recognition, like, yeah, it's different. And sometimes, when I had like leftover rice or some like dish and people were like, what's that? Like they had those nuances and those moments, but it wasn't even a bad thing. Like folks were genuinely like, I would tell them about trips back home to Nigeria and they would be so amazed by it and showing pictures of like our outfits and gowns and the cultural tradition. So I always grew up like with an early acceptance of who I am and where I come from. So I think that that plays into just, again, the brand that we're building and, just the personal feelings and passion behind it.
I love that you said that. And thank you for helping to allow me to quiet some of my West Coast stereotypes that I may have.
Yeah. I mean, if you still see some weird stuff, like that's not to say it's not no weird stuff going on, but for the majority, our upbringing, where we was at, it was for the most part really good.